The 417 Gamers is a group of board, tabletop, and card gamers in the 417 area code. This is the podcast. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast, episode 44, the one with SNCF, France and Germany. In the 4, Andrea and I talk about 4 events that we are looking forward to in the 417 area. We haven't done that in a while. We've been talking about so many games, we wanted to highlight some events. In the 1 topic of the show, we review the light stock manipulation trading rail building game SNCF, France and Germany, published by Rio Grande Games, designed by John Bohr. And in the 7, Alan comes back from episode 43, and we run him through the 7 questions of the 417 Gamer podcast. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. Welcome to the 417 Gamer podcast. My name is Rick.
And I'm Andrea.
In the 4, we like to talk about 4 events that we're looking forward to in the 417 area. The fair... You got me to go to the fair last year, and I usually don't care for the fair, but we had a good time.
Yeah, the Ozark Empire Fair.
Yeah, because they had some of, I said it last year, I'm getting older. They had some bands. They had Marcy Playground I enjoyed. They had Everclear, and who was the other one? There were 3 bands. That shows you how much I paid attention to that middle band. I apologize. They probably deserved better. But... looking forward to seeing who comes this year.
Yeah, it was a good show. Even though, was it Marcy's Playground that they...
no, Everclear.
Everclear, they lost their equipment.
All their instruments on their flight.
Yeah.
So
got
the
lost.
local... I forget who they said the local musical instrument, like Ernie Williams or it wasn't Hoover. Hoover's gone.
Yeah.
A local store... I think they rented them or lent them music instruments so they could play. And they put out, put in every bit of the effort.
Yeah, it was still a really good show. We had a good time.
Ozark Empire Fair takes place July 27th and goes through August 3rd. And I will be checking their band listings to see what my what of my bands are there now. The next one we're going to talk about is Linkin Park. Yeah. It is not in the 417 area, but it's adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
So, sadly, Chester Bennington passed. And I've been a big Linkin Park fan. I listen to quite a bit of them. Your brother loves them.
Oh, absolutely.
And they got a new female lead. And I've been interested to go and hear them live. I've heard on YouTube, I've seen some of their stuff. But it's time that we finally just go and see them.
Yeah.
So you got us tickets.
They've been on my bucket list for a long time.
Yeah. It's one of those... Sometimes you have those groups and bands that, for one reason or another, it just never works out. Never works out for you to go see them.
Mm-hmm. We were really lucky that Imagine Dragons came to Branson.
Last year.
To the Thunder Ridge. So now we get to see Linkin Park.
Yeah. The 3rd event we're going to talk about is Midstates Wrestling. Saturday, August 9th, Midstates Wrestling comes back to the Relic Event Center. This, if we get to go, and I'm hoping, I think schedule-wise, it looks good.
Yeah, we need to make sure we get tickets because it's sold out.
The last 3 times.
Yeah.
Maybe more, but they were talking about that they knew the last, 3 shows, including the last one we were at, completely sold out. So, August 9th, which is around my dad's birthday, my cousin's birthday, and my grandfather's birthday. So it's going to be interesting how that swings out. I'd like to take him, but he's all like, oh, it's your thing. But every time I've ever taken him to one of those live events, he's had a good time.
Yeah.
Midstates Championship Wrestling, family-friendly company that goes around, and it's classic wrestling. Boo the bad guys, cheer the good guys. Mm-hmm. The kids have a great time. Their bad guy heels do great crowd work. They absolutely do the, we're trying to do good, wait for the ref to turn his back, and then like the low blow or foreign object or distract the ref so you can do some cheating on the back end. The last event we went to was a very, very bad guy heavy event. There's Sexy Rexy came out, all baby oiled up, and he cheated. He got the win, so he was able to retain his Kansas Heavyweight Championship. Then we had the tag champs, the Fraternity. They're bad guys. They're managed by the Midstates Championship manager of champions, Stephen E. They have a contractor's metal clipboard that they use quite often.
Oh, yes.
Well, that got taken away by the ref, but lo and behold, under the ring, they had a second. They had a backup. And they used it and smacked the crap out of their opponent and won that. Then the main event was a fatal four-way for the heavyweight championship. The Smokin' Ace went against Handsome Stan Hansen and two other guys. Well, there was some shenanigans. A whole bunch of people came out. The ref got knocked down. Like 2 or 3 times the ref got knocked down. He needs some health insurance. But little screwy finish. The good guy got knocked out of the ring. Handsome Stan Hansen clocked somebody. Picked up the win. People booed. But then they stood up and cheered because it was a great show. Not only that, the last show in June, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, WWF Hall of Famer, came out, said some nice words.
Yeah, sold. He put some memorabilia, some things that he'd signed up for auction. They did a silent auction for his charity.
Mm-hmm. They raised quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
The very last one is something I'm kind of interested in. And this is Darren Dobbs of Roadkill Gamers up in Mountain Grove. They're having Mountain Grove Heritage Festival, August 8th and 9th, up in Mountain Grove. He was telling us that they do some of they take their game store and do some booths. We met them at OzCon, and Darren said that they had been to the Ren Fair and did some good things.
Yeah.
And they were looking forward to Heritage Festival and some of these other events. He goes, the gaming conventions are great, but being that one game store booth in an event where everybody else is completely different than you, he's like, some people aren't going to care, but you'll get enough people to walk by and go, oh, what's that? That even if you maybe not get all the sales you want at the event, they've looked your way and now they knew more about you. Because a lot of times, if people aren't necessarily in that hobby sphere, they'll walk right by it.
Sure.
But if they get to talk to some people about it, it might lure them in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Well, that was the 4 in the 417 Gamer podcast. You want to go into the 1?
Let's do it.
All right. We want to shout out to Rio Grande Games. Thank you very much, Jay Tomlinson, for sending games to Moon City Con. Rio Grande publishes my favorite game in Concordia, designed by Matt Gertz. They also have some other games. Woodcraft by Vladimir Suchi. And Dominion is a loved game in the 417 Gamer group that is designed by Donald X. Vaccarino. Check out their brand new game, Moon Colony Bloodbath. That is me and Andrea's current game of the year. Check out RioGrandeGames.com or contact your friendly local game store and get your Rio Grande game. The one topic of the show, we are reviewing the light stock trading, train route building, train game SNCF France and Germany. Designed by John Bohr, and this is published by Rio Grande Games. This originally came out in 2010. So in this game, this is a reissue of David V.H. Peters' SNCF that was released as a Winsome game in 2010. Queen republished it as Paris Connection in 2011. And then Rio Grande in 2024 acquired the rights to republish the SNCF name.
Now, we originally had Paris Connection.
We do.
And now we have SNCF.
Yes. So Paris Connection just has the France board, where SNCF has both the Paris and the Germany board. So in this game, there are 6 colors of wooden locomotives or wooden cubes. They are representing the 6 different train companies that are building and developing in the region of France. On your turn, you can either trade in stocks to increase your stock portfolio or change it, or you can increase the value of a single company by grabbing 1 to 5 cubes and placing them out on the board. In the France board, all the cities are worth anywhere from 1 to 4 points. However, there's only one 4-point city, and that is Marseille in the bottom right-hand corner of France, and that is one of your in-game triggers for the board. Otherwise, the other way you can trigger the game board is when after you've traded in and played so many cubes on the board, you're down to only one company left. This is a pretty easy teach, a pretty easy play, and this was Rio Grande Games was awesome. Jay Thomason contacted us and said, "Hey, I saw Moon City Con. Would you guys like some games from Rio Grande Games?" You bet your sweet rear end we would. I mean, they published my favorite game, which is something that I kind of want to do a deep dive review maybe down the road in Concordia. I've talked it up so many times, and I was like, I feel bad about talking about it, but now that Rio Grande Games sent us some stuff, I'm like, oh, I got to talk about it now.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, they sent us a case of this train game, and on the surface, it looks like a train game. And in the mechanics, it plays like a dry train game. And in the art, it does look like a dry train game. But I'm a mechanics person, and I'm also in sales. And when we played it at Moon City Con, I think we taught a dozen plus people.
We did.
To where when people were walking home with it, several people were like, "Ooh, I want the train game." And I think it was Elise that was over for Sunflower Stitches, I think was their company. Out of all the games she could have won, she wanted to win the 2 train games, both of them from Rio Grande. She wanted the free ride, and she wanted SNCF France and Germany. Yes,
they were huge hits.
They were. Which, I guess gamers and trains and go figure. So, in our review, we take a game and we break it down over 5 criteria. We look at presentation, how it looks on the retail shelf, your game shelf. Also, when you set it up, how well does it look? Components and rulebook. How hard or not is that rulebook to get through? And how nice are the components? Do they really make you want to come back and play? Gameplay. How is it to teach? How is it to play? How is it to, is it intuitive? Also, do you just flat out enjoy the gameplay? That's a big important one. Theme. How well does the theme integrate itself to the game? And then it factor. How much do you want to play that game? We score these in roughly anywhere from a 0 to 5 grading scale. Then we add up possible points, divide by 25, and then we get our final score. Andrea, presentation for SNCF France and Germany.
What's funny about that is because in train games, like for example, Ticket to Ride, the train pieces are little train cars. In this game, it's cubes, and you're putting tiny cubes in tiny squares to build out your track. And you wouldn't think, oh, that's probably not all that fancy, but people would walk by and say, oh my gosh, what is that? So it actually works out really well.
Yeah.
So despite your first impression of opening the box and be like, oh, just cubes, it actually looks pretty good out on the table. So I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm hooked to a 3.5 too, because when I felt like this was a downgrade from Paris Connection at first. You get 2 boards, so that's what brings it back up for components. But as far as presentation, we had a game that's should be eye candy. And a lot of people liked looking at it, and that was Tiny Laser Heist. We talked about it back in episode 41. But after we had that set up, a lot of the people at Tremendicon, which is more of a comic convention, more of a... they're gamers, but they're not board gamers. They're not into the hobby deep like we are. But when they came by and they saw Tiny Laser Heist, I'm like, oh, that looks fun. What's that? I'm like, it's a little train game. Ooh, when are you going to play that? at the comic convention. We taught the game 3 times. Mm-hmm. And they enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yeah.
And like, where can I get this? Go to your friendly local game store. And they have it in print. So ask your game store to bring it in. It's not that expensive. Mm-hmm. So for me, yeah, I'm with you at a 3.5. It's sometimes simpler is better. And it's a simple board, and I kind of knocked it. But it's easy to see. There's none of the cubes get lost in the art behind the board. You know where all the cubes are. You know if something happens while you're playing, you can just recount the cubes to reset the stock value. But where in my eyes, I'm like, oh, this is a downgrade. I had more people ask me about that game than when we had Paris Connection. Mm-hmm. Which brings us to components and rulebook. Components are a board that's very underwhelming. I'm just going to say that flat out. The rulebook, I thought, was a breeze to get through. It is they've had time to refine it over the years because it came out in 2010. Mm-hmm. Got reprinted by Queen Games as Paris Connection. And then it's reverted to, now it's not reverted, but Rio Grande has it now. Mm-hmm. The rulebook answers everything you need to know. And then when you flip it over and play the Germany side, it tells you exactly how you need to do that. Mm-hmm. So right there, I'm going to give it a solid 3.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I like that the dual board plays differently. It's not the exact same game with 2 different countries. The rules are different on both sides.
Yep. That brings us to gameplay. And as we are alluding to, this now has a second board. This has Germany on the opposite side. So in France, you start from Paris and you work your way out. On your turn, you can either trade in a stock cube and get up to 2 stock cubes of different colors from what you traded in. They can be the same or they can be different. And then the other action you may take is you can take 1 to 5 cubes of any of the color trains, but it all has to be the same. And you can start building out that rail line. Each time you enter a city, that rail line, its stock value grows by how valuable that city is. Yellow cities were worth 1, red cities are worth 2, and blue cities were worth 4. I remember that. It was like yellow, purple, red, and blue.
And I do like that that's printed right there on the board for everyone to see, mm-hmm. So you don't have to reference a rule book to think, oh, what city should I go to next?
So, when you flip it over, Germany plays different. Instead of starting at Paris, none of the rails start on the board. You gain a third different action. In fact, whoever starts the game has to do this action. Instead of trading for stock or building out cubes on the rail line, you just get to start that company. And you can start it anywhere on the board. You only get to play 1 cube. And you have to be at least 3 hexes away from any other rail line that's already on the board. Mm-hmm. But when you do, if you start in Berlin, that's 8 points. It's the only 8-pointer on the board, but then Berlin's a little ways away from other cities to increase its value. Mm-hmm. If you go down to the other side, there's a cluster of nice cities of blues and reds and yellows that are, they're 3s and 2s and 4s. So it's one of those, where do I start the rail line? And then if you start it, does the next person start to try and cut you off so that rail line doesn't just explode out of the gates? Mm-hmm. And that one has, I think, 3 different ways it ends. Either you build into all of the blue cities. It is not possible to build into all of the blue cities. Or, once again, you get all the companies exhausted except for 1 color. But, gameplay-wise, I'm at a 4.25 on this. I'm high.
Really? I was going to go 4.5. I thought you would be higher, honestly.
You might be right. As easy as it plays up to 6. It plays 3 to 6.
Yeah.
3 plays good. 4 to 6 is, in my opinion, its sweet spot.
And we played it back to back to back to back to back to back to back because we were teaching, and it never got old.
All right, you've talked me up to a 4.5. We're back. We're both on this one. I gotcha. Theme. It's a train game. But it's... I don't feel the train part of it. I do feel the stock portion of it, which is in there. And it's very light. There's not a whole lot of thought except for you're pushing some cubes, and you're watching as the train's value grow up. But it's absolutely, once somebody increases the value of trains, especially if it goes up significantly, then you see a whole bunch of people start kicking out a cube to go get some different stocks. And the amount of cubes for each of the color lines is finite. So if you're taking those cubes back to yourself for stock value, that's less that it gets to develop on the board and grow. And then some people even hoard some of the cubes that haven't even been played yet because they've got they might try and sneak out and start building the bad rail line really, really quick and try and overtake, and then maybe they're the only ones on that one. So I saw somebody try and do that, I think, on the third game we taught at Moon City Con. But yeah, theme-wise, light auction game, I'm at a 3.75.
Yeah, I was going to go 3.5.
Okay. I mean, it's not the most thematic game ever, but as far as a light stock game, I think it does its theme. But does it, am I like, woo-hoo? If I'm trying to teach the game to get people in it, sure. But if I was just playing off to, just with friends,
yeah.
No, I'm just being mean to them. And then it factor. How much do you want to play this game? I'll be honest. I want to play this more than I thought, especially with the Germany board.
Yeah.
And on Board Game Geek, there was some Essen exclusive maps that I'm kind of wanting to see if we can't maybe print and throw in our box.
Okay.
Oh, I need to help her. I'm going to pause. So, it factor. I'm going to put it at a 4.25. I mean, this is a game. So, our friend Catherine, in her spare tire wheel well, and she also had some other compartments in her one of her SUVs. I put first aid kit in one of them. That's probably bad at this point because it's like, hey, I'll be responsible, and it's probably not good anymore. But in our back wheel well, we have diamonds and we have 5 crowns. This box is small enough that I think I can fit it in there.
So we always have it with us. And
then I can throw those 2 card games in there too. So yeah, I'm at a 4.25 on It Factor. Where are you at?
Yeah, same, 4.25.
Really?
I think that I like that we can get every one of our people involved in this game. Light gamers, heavier gamers. I don't know that Logan, who is, the heaviest train gamer I know. But yeah, he liked it, so
I mean,
don't know.
Is he going to want to play? If you gave him the choice to play SNCF or Age of Steam, if he has the time, he's going to play Age of Steam. But if it's a game night and you're like, there's a whole bunch of other games on the board, but we're probably going to play SNCF both maps. If there's no other train games out there, there's a good chance you might get Logan to play your game.
Yeah.
Unless it's Terraforming Mars, and then I understand because my group loves Terraforming Mars. You can't compete with that. But looking at our scores, Andrea, we were both at a 3.5 on presentation. We were both at 3s on components and rulebook. Gameplay, we're both at 4.5. You talked me up. I was going to go 4.25, but you talked me up. Gameplay or theme, you're 3.5. I'm 3.75. It Factor, we're both 4.25, and I think you're right. I think we need to take this to the next game night. So, final score. Andrea, you're at a 75, and I'm at a 76. For this dry train game that we enjoy the crap out of.
We sure did.
And that is SNCF Germany and France, or France and Germany, I should say. Designed by John Bohr. Artists on this is Todd Sanders and Oliver Schelmer. Published by Rio Grande Games. Thank you, Jay Thomason, for the games for Moon City Con. We've got more Rio Grande games we're going to be reviewing because he gave us so many games.
Yeah, great games, too.
Rio Grande games, great company, great games. They're known for having games that play great.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love my Concordias.
Yeah.
And if you're not a fan of the Concordias, I don't know what to tell you. And if you're not a fan of SNCF, France and Germany, I don't know what to tell you. It's a good game.
It is.
That was the one topic of the show. Or should we do a 7?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey guys, Metagames Unlimited is Southwest Missouri's friendly local game store of choice. Large play space, great board game selection, magic cards, Warhammer, paint, supplies, everything you could want for gaming. The 417 Gamers and we usually are out every Thursday night from 6 to close playing them games, teaching them up. Come out and play games with us. Also, check out some of the events that they run in town. Check their Facebook at mguinc.com or go over to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Metagames Unlimited, or on Instagram at meta_games_unlimited. Let's get on with the topic of the show. The 7 in the 417 Gamer podcast is usually of a given category, but we had our guest Alan on episode 43 talking about old games, so we've got him back to answer the 7 questions of the 417 Gamer podcast. Hello, Alan.
Hello, I'm back.
Question number 1, what is the earliest game you remember playing, and what was your first hobby game?
Oh, geez, Rick, these are really hard, especially when you just spring them on me like that.
But what memory? What's your first one you remember?
Oh, my goodness. First memory.
Was it a Sorry? Was it a Battleship?
It's actually Connect 4.
Oh,
Connect 4 is like the earliest memory I have of like playing a game. And then right after that, I think would be like Operation. And because, you find old wrecked versions in, grade school and preschool, whatever. I do remember those being on the shelves though regularly and always being drawn to them and trying to play whatever rules I thought were supposed to be there or making some up. But those are very memorable. And what was the second part of your question? I'm so sorry.
What was your first hobby game?
My first hobby game, Settlers Catan, I think is actually Magic the Gathering. And then being in game stores or what was a game store back in those days, whether it be like a bookstore or whatnot. So Magic drawn me in there, and then getting a copy of Settlers Catan. That's kind of like that version of what I think of a board game. I think is where you're going there. Not a mass market, so to speak, even though it is now today. But at that time.
At that time, that was a hobby.
Yeah, it was a hobby.
The only place you found that was a hobby store.
Yeah, and so that I think is going to be it. And I still have the original version that Sarah and I would play way back in our last years of high school / beginning of college.
Oh.
Number 2, what color do you prefer to play as?
Black, then green.
Nice. Number 3, what style of game do you like to play, and what style of game do you tend to shy away from?
Territory Control, by far my favorite. Definitely my favorite. Love Territory Control. The one I absolutely hate the most are dice rollers with no way to manipulate the dice. Yeah. I can handle a good dice roller as long as you have some way to mitigate the result of it with a game mechanic.
Question number 4. Just an estimate. How many games are in your personal collection currently?
Oh, geez, Rick. Let's go with 400.
Okay. Now, well, I mean, being a proprietor of a game store, you are acquiring quite a few.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times you get to capacity and have to kick some back out.
We do regularly. There are many that I donate. I do get taken well care of by great staff and by publishers that are out there and friends across the land that are like, hey, I think you'd really like this, and they'll surprise me with something. But yeah, I probably have too many at the moment, but hey, you have to have something to look forward to. Some people have bass boats. I've got board games.
Number 5, is there a game you have not won but you really want to?
Jeez, I'm sure there is, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Nothing just gnawing at you?
No, not
like a Twilight Imperium or a...
No.
That's fine.
I mean, I think in Twilight Imperium, you bring that up, and I think I have more fun just doing the most
Throwing wrenches in others' plans.
Yeah, like, totally blockading people from moving from one side of the
galaxy.
Exactly. Yeah, stuff like that. So that I like to be a wrecker as far as that goes. But something I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Winning is great. Yeah. You always want to win. Winning is fantastic, but I think I probably have better memories of times where I haven't won and came away with a great story or something where we're ribbing friends about.
Number 6, what is one piece of advice you'd send back to yourself as you were just getting into the hobby?
Don't ever sell your old Magic cards. Don't do it. Just hold on to them and hold on to them because they just keep going up in value. No matter how much space they take up, keep a hold of the Alpha, the Beta, the Unlimited, the Arabian Nights, the revised dual lands. Keep a hold of all that stuff because it is just way too valuable to get rid of. And once you do get rid of them, you don't typically get them back.
Yeah, not without paying significantly more.
Right.
And then finally, question 7. What are your 7 favorite games?
Oh, it's tough. It was a very hard list to come up with. I do have one. It was very hard for me.
Let's go to number 7.
Okay, number 7. I have it Air, Land, and Sea.
That's really good.
Because not only is it really good, it is a price point that no matter how many people I show it to, they're likely going to pick it up. It's 18 cards, I believe. Don't quote me, it's a very small number of cards that make for just a tremendous game of chicken. And it's very strategic, too. It's way more strategic that few a card should be able to be allowed to be. It is fantastic. Air, Land, and Sea is just a great time. Now, one thing that's weird about it and being on my list is it is only a 2-player game. But sometimes I just want to play a game and there's only 2 of us. And it is very easy to get out and is a great time.
There's something great about sitting across from one player and having that strategy, matching strategies.
It's fantastic. And I have not had a lot of time to spend with the Spies, Lies, and whatever expansion it has. I'm sure it is just as good too. But Air, Land, and Sea is my number 7, Rick.
Number 6.
Number 6. I come in with another 2-player. Really struggled with this because it was only 2-player. Yeah. But it's All Creatures Big and Small.
That's one of our favorite 2-players, period.
Yeah. And it's always a great time when I get it out. Farming isn't necessarily my go-to theme that I like, but this game plays so well. It's so accessible. It plays relatively very quick. It's just tremendous. I definitely recommend All Creatures Big and Small at my number 6 spot.
And since we started playing with the added advanced tiles, I can't beat her. Which is bull, because before she out of like 15 games, she beat me once on the base game, and I was being a smart aleck. Well, now the shoe's on the other foot, because now we've thrown in the expansion tiles, and I don't think I've won.
That's fantastic. Now, talking about that era of game when that came out, one that came out a little bit later that I definitely want to get to the table more, it's the Cave versus Cave, because I'm a big fan of Caverna back in the day.
We liked it, but not as much. It just made us want to go back and play Agricola All Creatures Big and Small.
Nice.
Number 5.
Number 5 comes in with Castles of Burgundy. Fantastic game, and it's even better if you happen to run into the version that they just currently made.
It's gorgeous.
And I should be coming to the top of my head who did the reproduction of the last one, but I can't remember off the top of my head for some reason. But the production value of that is just ridiculous. Don't recommend playing it with the 3D tiles as much. With just the standard tiles is phenomenal. But no matter if you have the old version or the current remake, Awakened Realms, the Awakened Realms remake of Castles of Burgundy is just fantastic. But Castles of Burgundy comes in at my number 5 slot. Fantastic game, and maybe even ranks a little bit higher, but a 7 is very hard to do.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me is Kemet. Territory controls, one of my favorites. And it's way up there. Kemet is fantastic territory control. Whether you have the old version, the new version, it's another one of those games to where...
I couldn't bring myself to get rid of the old version now that I have the new version, the Blood on the Sand.
Yep. I have so many of the expansions for the old version, and now I have the new version. I won't get rid of either. I think they're both are tremendous. I like any one of them that we can get to the table. Rick, you and I have played that one a bunch over the years, and I absolutely love Commit.
Does that put us at 3?
Number 3. At number 3, I have coming in strong with Concordia.
Ooh.
It's very good, and it just is such a great time anytime it comes to the table. The programming of the cards that you have, the strategy, I think the more you play it, the more the strategy comes through. However, it's very easy to teach for a game that looks fairly complex when it's out on the table.
Yeah.
Fantastic, great time.
Number 2,
Scythe. Another territory control, kind of engine builder, worker placement kind of thing. Fantastic. It's not about attacking, but it is about having good territory control. Phenomenal. Probably if we were to just limit my list to just board games, it probably is the number 1 spot.
So what is the number 1?
My number 1 all-time game is Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Just, it's what got me into playing games. It's what got me into the business of games. It's what keeps me coming back for more.
It's also what has you having a store that's a safe space for a lot of kids that may not have another place to go.
Yep. It's just really near and dear to my heart. So Magic the Gathering is my number 1.
Alan, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
This was episode 44 of the 417Gamer podcast. Keep on gaming in the 417. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. The 417 Gamer podcast is recorded and produced by Andrea and Rick Bagwell. The intro music we use, Kind, Gentle, Beautiful Person, and the outro music, Making Up for Last Time, was created by Origami Replica. For links to our show notes, music, and guest links, head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hobby Gaming Network. Until next time, keep gaming in the 417.